It's two division champ season, ladies and gentlemen, in 2025. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Against the Fence. First, we had Ilia Topuria, and now Islam Makhachev and Zhang Weili have got the chance to make history by being two division champions. But will they be successful? We're going to chalk it up in this news show. So welcome on in, everybody. We're a UFC fan channel where fan opinions matter most. We've got a lot to get through following Dana White's amazing announcement last night. I don't know what time it came in, because obviously we were asleep over here in the UK, but to wake up to the news was fantastic. We'll talk about that JDM versus Islam Makhachev fight. We'll talk about Valentina Shevchenko versus Zhang Weili. We'll talk about Leon Edwards versus Carlos Prates. We'll talk about Virna Jandiroba versus Mackenzie Dern 2, because that's going to be for the vacant UFC strawweight title. So a lot going on. And then we'll also talk about Umar Nurmagomedov versus Mario Bautista. So they're the topics. Also that I realized earlier as well, literally a matter of hours ago, I realized that that apparently Dana's quite confident now that the White House event will happen. Apparently details on it will be coming in soon. Smash a like on the video for the White House fight card. I didn't think that was going. I wasn't confident that it was going to go ahead, to be honest. It seemed a bit of a logistical nightmare, but he seems confident, and I'm intrigued to find out how they're going to make it happen. So maybe also pop in the comment section or in the chats some of your main event predictions for that, because yeah, okay, it's next summer, we've got a long time, but like, which fight are you going to make as a headliner? Because you can't be confident it'll be Conor McGregor. You can't be confident it'll be John Jones, even though John Jones is pressing to be on that fight card and make history. You know, it almost seems like I think fight fans are going to get a little bit overexcited about it. Similar to UFC 300, we have all these high expectations that people were going to come back that we've not seen in a very, very long time, i.e. Brock Lesnar, or, you know, Fedor was going to like sign a one fight deal. It was all kinds of crazy stuff, but then in the end we ended up getting a fight that we knew was going to happen anyway, which was Alex Pereira and Jamal Hill. So maybe that could be the fight, kind of fight that we get to see. Welcome on in, guys. Smash a like on the video, as I said a second ago. And I can't wait to get your opinions on these fights that got announced. We'll start off by talking about the Umar Nurmagomedov versus Mario Bautista fight, which is confirmed to be the main card opener at UFC 321 in Abu Dhabi. Umar returns after suffering his first loss as a professional to Merab Dvalishvili for the belt back in January. Bautista is on a 8-fight win streak, and a win will guarantee him a title fight. But can Bautista keep up with the pace that Umar brings, or will Umar Nurmagomedov be too strong? Sorry, that's the other way around. Can Umar Nurmagomedov put up with the pace that Mario Bautista brings, or will Umar be too strong for Bautista? Because Bautista's takedowns are a bit questionable at 67%, but can he keep it standing and outstrike Umar? I think Umar's a very technical striker. He's got very good kicks. He's very good at utilizing his range. Obviously, you know, he struggled against Merab, who was able to get in quick against him, and also execute takedowns of his own. I don't expect that from Bautista. I think, personally, my prediction for that fight is Umar will get the decision win. I think he's going to be too strong for him, and he will out-wrestle Bautista to a victory. That's what I can see. I think Abu Dhabi being his sort of like, I don't know, we kind of call him his home territory because, of course, there's a lot of Muslims there. And he kind of thrives under that Abu Dhabi crowd, doesn't he? So, yeah, tough one for Bautista. But look, if you're Bautista, I've said the best fighter who has a decent chance of beating Merab is Bautista. However, does he get past Umar? I'm just not really too confident on it. I'm not, but imagine if Bautista pulls off the upset, because I'm imagining that Umar will be favourite in this fight, despite him coming off a loss to the champ. I don't see Bautista winning. He's a cardio machine. He could very well out cardio Umar across 5 rounds, but it's not going to be 5 rounds. So, yeah, I give Umar favour for that one. But taking us back then, get your chats in, guys. I want to hear you folks, or in the comment section if you're catching this the next day. Let's talk about Virna Jandiroba versus Mackenzie Dern, because that fight is also scheduled for UFC 321, and it'll be the co-main event underneath the Tom Aspinall versus Cyril Gane fight. It will be for the vacant UFC strawweight strap. The two previously met in 2020. Dern picked up the unanimous decision win that time around. Now, Jandiroba, however, cemented herself as the next contender when she beat Yan Xiaonan at UFC 314 back in April. At that point in the Aftermath show, we had suspicions that Zhang Weili would move up in weight and fight Valentina. We weren't too sure what would happen with Jandiroba. So Jandiroba deserves to be in this position. However, Mackenzie Dern deserve to be in the position, who is coming off of a 2-fight win streak against Lupi Godinez, which was via unanimous decision, and her most recent one, which was against Amanda Ribas, and she won by submission, and that was an armbar. Jandiroba, I actually believe, will likely be the favourite because she's on a 5-fight win streak and has beaten 2 fighters that Dern has lost to, which was Marina Rodriguez and Amanda Lemos. So I think the odds do stack in Jandiroba's favour. However, the UFC, I think, kind of wanted Dern to be in a title picture for quite some time now, and I think that's the reason why she's in there. Personally, I mean, I'm not going to say that she got given cupcake fights on her way up to in the UFC, because she hasn't. I don't think she has. I'm just going to take a quick little glance at the rankings. I'm sorry I'm not going to be able to show you. Oh, yeah, I'm going to show you guys. Only small there. Yeah, Dern in at number 5. Whereas in and around Tatiana Suarez coming off a loss, of course, she's not going to get the shot. Yan Xiaonan coming off a loss as well. She's not going to get the shot. Lemos is fighting Suarez. I feel like Lemos versus Jandiroba could have been the fight that they made. Oh no, Jandiroba beat her 2 fights ago via armbar. That's probably the reason why then. Yeah, so I think the matchmakers have had no choice but to chuck Mackenzie Dern in there. Alright, I mean, look, it's going to bring eyeballs. I think more people like Mackenzie Dern than they do Amanda Lemos. It's just facts. But is Mackenzie Dern ready to be a champion in this division? She's still got some holes in her game. Her striking is still a little bit suspect. It's looked better since the 2 loss streak that she had against Amanda Lemos was one of them, and Jessica Andrade, wasn't it? Via knockout. And they're 2 solid strikers. Jandiroba is not a solid striker. I think everyone's going to be paying close attention to the Lemos versus Suarez fight. That's going to be really intriguing. I think for fight fans, you're gonna want Suarez to win, because Suarez versus Dern, fun fight. Suarez versus Jandiroba, fun fight as well. If Lemos wins, we get rematches. So that's kind of my take on that. My prediction, however, yes, Ash, good to see you. What are you thinking in terms of these fight announcements? And yeah, what's your predictions for all them all as well? My prediction for this one though, look, I'm gonna be cheering for Mackenzie Dern all day long. Like I said, I think Jandiroba's gonna favour it. I hope that Dern gets it, man. I hope Dern gets it, but it will be a decision. I can't see. I think on the ground they're going to cancel each other out. Unless Dern decides to outpoint her on the feet. I can kind of see that. And that's why I'm slightly siding with Dern in this one. And man, to see a belt around her shoulder will be fantastic. I will be there. You will be there. I'm going to go mad during the watch long. The fact it's going to be in Abu Dhabi as well, at a decent time for UK fans. Mate, hopefully we're going to bring the spinning wheel out for that watch long. So make sure you got the notifications bell rang and you join us. Because, yeah, I'm going to be popping bottles when that happens. Popping bottles for sure. For sure. I'm going to head on back. Let's clear that chat for them for now. Let's head on back to then talk about the next fight announcement, which was Leon Edwards versus Carlos Prates, which will be set at UFC 322. Man, that card is looking juicy for the MSG, right? And now this fight card was clearly the fight card that the UFC were hoping to tee up for Jones versus Aspinall 6 months ago. Fast forward, and now we've got these fights instead. And look, I'm not mad. Don't get me wrong. I would have loved to have seen the heavyweight titan clash between those two. But man, two fighters looking to move up in weight and capture gold in another division in the same night. Take my effing money. Because it's going to be fantastic. But first, the fight, which I think is going to be on the featured bout, the third fight on the main card. Leon Edwards against Carlos Prates. Now, we knew Prates was going to stay active after that spectacular flashing knockout against Jeff Neal. Did we expect it was going to be against Leon Edwards? We put his name in the hat. Wasn't too confident on it, though. I wasn't anyway. So I thought there was other options for Leon Edwards. And timing-wise, I'm not sure if it was going to work out. Now, for Leon Edwards, is there a way back for him if he loses this fight? It's the big question that everyone's thinking when this fight was announced. The Sean Brady fight for him was his worst performance to date. It was horrendous. Now, again, going back to my thoughts after the Prates fight, I felt that Leon Edwards versus Ian Machado Gary was going to be the next one the UFC made. I was wrong. But why are we not seeing that fight? 1 week ago, Ian Machado Gary said Leon is sick of fighting wrestlers. And he felt that Leon wouldn't take the fight against Prates. Which is odd, because they're both great matchups for each other. They're both strikers. Maybe he just didn't believe that Leon has got the confidence in him to return. So, like now, at this point. And personally, I think that maybe perhaps Ian Machado Gary is waiting out to fight Bilal Muhammad. He's training at the moment, so I don't think there's any injury excuses there for Ian. What do you guys think? I would have liked to have seen Leon maybe come back to a UFC fight card in March. It could still happen. But it depends on this outcome of this fight. Really. I think Prates will be favourite because he's riding some momentum. However, Leon Edwards is more well-rounded. So if you're a betting man, I'm saying now, go with Leon Edwards. I think he can surprise a lot of people in this matchup. I really do. He can wrestle. We've seen it. Even though it's not his preferred option, we're either going to see Leon Edwards get knocked out or he's going to win a decision. by mixing up his offense, similar to what Ian Machado Gary did, because he's going to be looking at that fight. He's going to look at that fight and go, if Ian can do it, I can definitely beat this guy. And Leon's difficult to tag as well. So I think it's going to be a nightmare fight for Prates. Again, it's probably going to take something unpredictable to land in order to get the flash knockout again. Because that's what I think we'll be expecting. Most fight fans will go for Prates, guaranteed. But my prediction is Leon Edwards, unanimous decision. Take it to the bank. Lock it in now. Ahead of time. November 15th. It's got some time away. So that's my take on it. But we digress. I'm going to head on to let's talk about the co-main event of that night then, which will be the super fight between Valentina Shevchenko and Weili Zhang. Man, what a super fight this is. Like, it's kind of been a long time coming, don't you guys think? I think it has been. Zhang is in her MMA prime at the moment. Shevchenko could be past her prime. However, schooling Furo proved doubters wrong in that last fight. Do you think she's past her prime? I have to question it. Both women have shown their wrestling abilities as of late. Even though they're predominantly strikers, I think it's going to be a back and forth war. It'll be a close decision, split. It could go either way. Maybe a draw. It'll be like Zhang takes one round, Shevchenko takes the next, then Zhang around, then Shevchenko. It'll probably go down to the fifth and final round. It might be the closest round. Who would have the upper hand in the wrestling areas? Maybe, I think level change wise, Zhang might be a little bit better. But in terms of ground control, I think Shevchenko's got better ground control. So it will come down to who can mix their arts up the best on the night. Who's going to be stronger out of the two? Maybe it'll be Shevchenko. Who's going to be the quickest? It might be Zhang Weili. But making a prediction for this is super difficult. I think maybe most people would lean towards Zhang Weili. Because like I said, she's probably in her MMA prime at the moment. But both girls are fairly similar in age. I think Shevchenko is like 37 and Zhang is 36. Which isn't much in it. But we're talking about fight mileage now. Shevchenko had a lot of kickboxing bouts back in the day before transitioning to MMA. She's been in the UFC a lot longer, fighting at bantamweight, flyweight as well. So, yeah. If Shevchenko gets the decision win, does Zhang Weili stick at flyweight? There's another question as well. But if Zhang Weili wins, does Shevchenko retire? What else is there left to prove? This is the biggest fight at the moment for you. After this, there is no one else. Well, are you going to fight Jandiroba or Mackenzie Dern winner? No. Absolutely not. You're going to move up and fight Kayla Harrison or Amanda Nunes? Maybe, but do fans really want to see Shevchenko against Kayla Harrison if Kayla Harrison gets the win against Nunes? It's a new fight that we've not seen before, but is it one to excite you? Probably not. So, Shevchenko, if I was Shevchenko, I would retire. Let Zhang Weili then ride out the flyweight division and dominate. There's some good matchups in that division for her, though. I think it's exciting. So I would love to see her stick around. Yeah, prediction-wise, I can't. It's difficult. I'll probably go for Zhang on the night. I'll have to see. We'll have to see nearer the time. Let's head on back to get to Ash's chat, who says, yeah, worried for Leon, man. Yeah, I think everyone is. I'm really worried for him. I am. It's going to be down to where his head's at on the night. Especially coming off of that Sean Brady loss. It wasn't great. And maybe it's a good move for the UFC to put him on a pay-per-view card. I feel. Because that way the pressure of headlining in your home country is not there. And maybe he needs a win in order to get back to doing that. Yes, Kian, live from wherever, Bali, is it? Bali, sunny Bali, where you're at. Man, what do you think about Prates and Edwards, man? What do you think of that fight? I've just said a second ago, I feel that for me, fans are going to be riding on Carlos Prates, but I think a cheeky little bet, if you're a betting man, on Leon Edwards is a good shout. Because he's going to be a decent underdog. Going to be a decent underdog. Man, guys, good to see you as always. No UFC stream this weekend. We don't have an event, which is perfect timing for these announcements, right? When there's not much of going on in the MMA space, you got to announce something to keep people interested, right? And it's great timing. Kian says Leon pieces Prates to decision. Leon does his thing on the back foot. Prates be walking onto the end of shots. Yeah. Like I said, like I do feel that Prates has got something. He's got to land something crazy to catch Edwards off guard and put him away, similar to Jeff Neal fight. Because like heading into the Jeff Neal fight, I thought, do you know what? People are going to underestimate Jeff Neal because he does the basics really, really well, and he pressures people. He had Prates on the back foot most of the fight, but Prates did well using his range to keep him at bay, and then landed that spinning elbow. Prates, the range against Edwards might not necessarily always be there for this one. So, and I think Edwards is a lot taller than Jeff Neal as well. Of course, there will be a grappling threat. I think Leon will bring it. Oh, hang on. Why is that chat not popping up? There is another chat there. Because MOHD, it's not coming up on mine. How weird. Welcome on in, buddy. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. As I say, Islam by submission. I'll try clearing that chat. It's not coming up. I don't know why. Actually, I'll tell you what. Let's do. There we go. Islam by submission. Yeah, which then leads us on to talk. Let's talk about that fight now. Last thing we're going to talk about JDM versus Makhachev. Set for UFC 322. MOHD is going with Islam submission. I can kind of see it. I can kind of see it, man. I mean, let's head on over here. Here it is. JDM's performance against Belal, however, is still one of the best performances, I would say, of the year. But will he have the same success against Islam like he did in the Belal fight, where yes, he got taken down, but he was able to nullify any offense, get back to his feet, and continue to piece Belal up on the feet. Now, there's some important factors to take into this fight because Islam isn't the same as Belal. He's very different. Just because Belal came from that same camp doesn't mean they're the same fighter. Which I think a lot of fight fans will be thinking of heading into this fight, especially Australians. Because Islam brings a more of a kickboxing style, whereas Belal is a more of a boxing-orientated striker, and that's the reason why JDM had success and won the fight. If either man pulls out of this fight, however, this is what the negative side got to me when I thought about this fight getting made. If either man pulls out of this fight, who do you think will be the replacement? Leon Edwards or Carlos Prates? I'm going to leave that in there for you to think about and discuss. Kian says Leon will excel in the early rounds, possibly a higher pace from Leon. It's been years since we saw a 3-rounder with Leon. True. Even his Diaz fight was 5 rounds. That's a very good point. Very good point, Kian. I didn't think about that. I'm off now. It's 1:30 a.m. here and got an early morning. Good night, lads. Oh, good night from Bali, bro. Good night from Bali. Yeah, JD. Yeah, I think JDM's gonna, of course, get in close, land his boxing combinations. I can see him catching Islam on multiple occasions, similar to what we saw Volkanovski did. However, I do believe that Islam came into that fight maybe a little bit compromised. We've heard the fact that the altitude affected him in that fight. He didn't really climatize properly at the time. So, all right, chalk it up to whatever excuses you want. We definitely saw a different Islam in that first Volk fight. It won't be like that in this one in New York. But again, going back to the question that I asked you guys, if either man pulls out of this fight, who do you think will be the replacement, Leon Edwards or Carlos Prates? Personally, I think it would be Carlos Prates because he is riding more momentum. He's coming off of a win. Fans just kind of love watching Prates at the moment. He's probably got a bit more stock than Leon. So for that reason, I think they'll put him in there. Even though he's ranked at number 9 in the division? Yeah. So it would be similar like to when Moicano stepped up for Sarukian when Sarukian pulled out. But who's more likely to pull out? JDM or Makhachev? Probably Makhachev. So if we get JDM versus Prates, take my money. Fans are still going to want to see that fight. It's still a great one to watch. Explosive Muay Thai style. It's an explosive boxer. If JDM was to pull out, Prates versus Makhachev, we know what the story is. It'd be an interim title fight, but we know Islam's going to take the win. So, I mean, look, I hope, fingers crossed, we don't get anyone to pull out because I really want to see these fights. However, usually we get pull-out season, don't we? Towards the end of the year. It happens. People fall out. They drop like flies. So, who knows what could happen? We've not had a pull-out season in a little while. So, yeah. I mean, I don't want to jinx it. Let's touch wood, guys. Touch all the surfaces. Fingers crossed it doesn't happen. So, yeah. Let's take us back then. All right. Awesome stuff, guys. Hit a comment on the video if you're catching this the next day. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button because we're a UFC fan channel where fan opinions matter most. We do all sorts of live streams. We do the watch-along live streams, post-pay-per-view, aftermath shows, the pre-pay-per-view breakdown shows with Ash and Sai, where they dissect each fight on the main card and decipher who has the upper hand in the striking, grappling, power, speed, and cardio of each fighter. And that's always a fun live stream, man. So, yeah, you gotta watch out. Pop the bell on the channel. Come interact with us. Come talk about that one sport that we're all passionate and love to see. So good to see you guys as always. Take care now. I'm JK and we'll see you in the next live stream. Ciao for now.